We are live!
Hello, Internet.
Hello.
Is that a new thing that you're doing?
We are live!
Oh. You're like an 80s kind of puppet.
Word for me.
Whoa, puppet. My name is Cameron K. McCune and I'm joined by...
Elazar Cabrera.
Have you taken like some kind of TV course this
That's
week?
right.
No, he's on the...
I'm live.
We are live!
Our usual other guy, Sean, couldn't be with us today, sadly. But we are joined
Back by popular demand,
By
kids.
popular demand.
The Sylvester McCoy lookalike. That was so
Yeah.
offensive, whoever commented and
An older
said that.
Sylvester McCoy.
An older Sylvester McCoy without the bird poo down the side of his face from The Hobbit. And I was called controversial.
Were you indeed?
Yes. So
What did he say that was controversial?
What didn't I say?
What didn't he say? He did have his allegedly sign.
I did have my
Do you have
allegedly.
any
I think-
signs this week?
No, I don't. I wish I had.
So, thank you for joining us at such late notice. I know we took you from a very important
Business
meeting.
lunch. Yes, absolutely.
So thanks. Sean, get better. The clinic says should all be cleared up very soon.
Keep taking the tablets or it's going to look like a crayon in a wax oven.
No, Sean is very busy, as everyone knows. He's organising Star Fury conventions,
That's
and
right.
we have one this weekend.
Yes, which Eve Miles and Nakamori are at.
Indeed.
And we're going to go and see them.
We're going to say hello, pop in,
Pop out.
pop out.
Pop back in again.
Say
Yeah.
hello to our best buddy Eve.
Yeah, me and Eve. Some people might know me and Eve.
A bit of an item now, you and Eve, yeah?
Let's come on now, steady. She's a married, almost human being. Later on, we will be talking about Mr. Peter Davison and his time in the popular show Doctor Who. Peter Davison, of course, best known as being the best Doctor Who in the world ever.
And the best TV vet
Best TV vet.
as well. There's quite a few bests.
Yeah, just best guy generally. So we're looking at that, but in particular the story The Visitation, which comes out in DVD soon. Next Monday? Or is that out?
Possibly.
No, next Monday, yeah.
Next Monday, yes.
So we'll be reviewing that fantastic DVD box set. We'll also be...
Depending on when you're watching this, of course.
Oh, yeah.
In case you're,
You
if
may
you're
be
watching
watching
Wow.
it after it's
If
been
you're
released.
watching it after next Monday, it's already out. Go
magic of
to the
time
shops
travel.
and buy it.
Maybe you're watching this in like thousands of years' time. And
We were a simple folk back then.
Speak for yourself. We'll also be looking at... I just spat in there. We'll also be looking ahead to 2 episodes, The Crimson Horror and Nightmare in Silver. I'll be doing reviews of those because we're not here next week.
We're not here next week, no.
Why aren't we here next week?
All sorts of reasons.
Define one.
No, the government told us we couldn't do it. But we'll also we'll be looking at the episode that just aired on Saturday, Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS. So please get your comments in on Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS.
Elf 14 Productions says Sylvester is back. But we're getting a lot of comments that somehow our audio and our video are slightly out of sync.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I've never come across out of sync.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So please get your comments on Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS. But first up, it's news.
It is news. I'm just trying to wonder how we can fix being out of sync, though, whether it's possible or not.
Time.
Why don't we speak quicker but have the sounds come out slower?
I would like to say this.
I'm sure people can imagine how great it is that if it was synced up.
If it was synced up, yes. I wonder what it is. Why don't you just tell us in the chat room what the delay is, just so we kind of know how out of sync we actually are.
I look like a Gajira. Oh, somebody says Gajira.
Moving on to what we look like and what we sound like. It's news time. Now, last week we were talking about the Regeneration box set.
Yes.
And the very next day...
Which I said was coming out on Amazon.
Yeah. It was announced the following day.
It was, indeed.
Officially announced.
All Regenerations.
What do you make of the... Well, it looks beautiful and there's a beautiful book with it.
It's a wonderful set by the looks of it.
Sadly, I don't think we're going to get review copies, which is a bit annoying because with these higher end ones, they don't tend to send out for reviews.
Because they know they'll be on eBay.
That's a terrible thing to say. But the book looks absolutely lovely. I'm just distracted. I can see the camera is going out, whiting out. I don't like that. Fix it. It's got a few Doctor Who stories on it. Over 1,000 minutes of Doctor Who
Like
goodness.
bonus extras and stuff.
No, there's no extras.
Oh, okay.
It's got the 10th planet, complete with new animated episode.
Yep. It's got both War Games and Spearhead.
Yep.
Okay. Has it got any sort of Bonnie Langford extras?
Bonnie Langford extras.
No. It's got Planet of the Spiders. It's got the Logopolis. I think it's a pity they didn't put...
Logopolis is kind of interesting because it's like chapter 2 of a 3-part
Yeah.
chapter. So it's like,
It's kind of weird they didn't put Castor Alpha on it.
Yeah.
And similarly, although I wouldn't want to watch the Twin Dilemma or put anyone through it, it'd have been interesting because it's called Regenerations to have the Twin Dilemma there to see the effect of the Sixth Doctor's regeneration, because he was a bit of a, I was going to say bastard, but I can't say that,
You
can I?
can't say that. I was told off for saying other words that were less rude than that.
So Caves, after that, the immediate effects would have been interesting. There's Time in the Rani, which of course nobody wants to see again.
Oh, I do.
Do you?
Yes.
No.
If I look like Sylvester McCoy, I may as well enjoy it.
Oh, okay.
Controversial.
There's the Paul McGann television movie.
Do your Paul McGann impression, go on. You love it.
I do. What's his line? It was only on planet Scarrow where my old enemy, the Master, made the somewhat curious request. He said, I, a rival Time Lord. I slightly changed there at the end.
Oh, yeah.
It's got Parting of the Ways and Bad Wolf.
Okay.
Or Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways, rather.
Okay.
The End of Time.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's what you get.
yeah, I mean, that's...
Unless in like the next 3 episodes he regenerates.
It's going to be an interesting one because obviously there's a lot in there. But if you're a new fan who likes obviously the new stuff and is probably buying it because it's part of your collection of David Tennant, Matt Smith stories, might be a first way of looking at some of the classic stories.
How much is that?
It's only
£755.
I think the RRP is £60.
It's about £60. Yeah.
So that'll probably mean on Amazon it's 40. I would think. Is that right?
Maybe.
Which is, considering it's 6 discs and quite a few stories.
Yeah, but apart from one, isn't the rest of them widely available?
But as my good friend,
you get no bonuses.
There's no bonuses, but there's a beautiful book as well.
Okay, which I'm sure you can buy separately on eBay.
Well, I'm sure you can for an extraordinary amount of money. But I think they should have included the regeneration stories after the regenerations as well.
Okay.
Personally speaking, just to give it a more fuller account of the regeneration.
Until he gets his sort of, until he's back on his feet. So
Yes.
essentially wanders around 4 episodes banging into walls and sort of like,
Banging into walls. Yeah, but it's an interesting set. I think it's fun. And as you say, I think it is for people. It's for a different audience.
Yeah, it's a good introductory. It's a way of watching all the Doctors.
Yeah. Will you be buying it?
Will I be buying it? I'll be waiting for 10th Planet, to be honest. I mean,
What do you think that's coming out by itself?
when it comes out by itself. It's quite a big box. I mean, it's because it's got the book as well. It's one of those, does it even fit on your DVD shelf kind of box sets.
It's going to be a trip to IKEA.
I've seen your shelves. You don't have anything to worry about. Feel free to let me know if there's any comments.
Yes. The Gallifrey Times says, whoa, that was really cool. When Cameron was doing that voice. Which voice were you just doing?
Was it my Paul McGann?
Paul McGann,
Yeah.
very good. Go on, do it again.
It was on the planet Scarrow where my old enemy, the Master, made the somewhat curious request. He said that I, a rival Time Lord.
He's an actor, don't you?
It was a request they never should have granted. Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you, GT.
So,
your money's in the post.
Ollie Bishop is going to start playing Candy Crush while he's listening to us now.
Oh my God. Everybody's talking about bloody Candy Crush. What the hell is
I
it?
just see adverts on Facebook for it, but I've never actually clicked on it
Can we
yet.
have a look at what Candy Crush is? We'll all play it while we're doing this.
Moving on to other news that came out today. This is breaking news. You didn't even know about
I
this.
didn't even see this one.
Doctor Who magazine made this somewhat curious request. No, it states that it stated that they.
Can you do it in your Paul McGann voice?
Do the whole thing.
The whole thing. No, because it's quite sore to speak like Paul McGann.
I think Paul McGann does it. Go on, you're an actor.
I am not an actor. Thanks. Doctor Who magazine has confirmed that the only returning Doctor to the 50th anniversary special will be a guy called David Tennant.
Okay, well that's a way to put. As I said earlier, that's a way to put a bolt gun through a cash cow's head, isn't it?
Why?
Why? Because it's typical of how the BBC is treating Doctor Who.
It's like, we'll have this breaking news that there's no other Doctors and we'll just stick it in the magazine.
We read the magazine a day early.
Well, subscribers got it today.
Okay, fair enough.
So it's out there. So there's no returning Doctors apart from Tennant.
Are they in any pictures we Maybe is there a spoiler that we can sort of reveal?
No. Do you want me to reveal a spoiler?
Yes.
Okay. Turns out, no. The other bit of news was they were looking to the production and what's happening, and they're filming, of course, the Christmas special. And so I can't remember what the quote was off the top of my head, but it's possibly several other episodes. It was something along those lines. Somebody sent me a picture of the actual quote bit. Yeah, and possibly several other episodes. Good way to big up Series 8.
Yes.
This is what they're not even calling it Series 8. It's just going to be a bunch of other episodes.
Nah, we'll get some episodes out.
But do we wonder if this is some kind of smoke screen?
No. Oh, you think it? No, I don't think so. Why would you put it in print like that?
Because it's the BBC.
The Doctor lies.
It was a request they never should have granted.
Dylan, I almost spat up Coke Zero.
Timing malfunction. So interesting news, and a lot of people very upset. Kel surprise. Doctor Who fans getting upset. Boo-hoo.
But you couldn't.
Please! Like you wouldn't have wet yourself if Tom Baker's scarf appeared, and now it's not. How do you feel about it to be cruelly taken away from you?
Can I tell you that Tom Baker's scarf is in the 50th anniversary?
That was. I know. I do listen. I do read you stuff.
A scarf.
A scarf. Yes.
Not the scarf.
So is it going to be like a scarf, a stick of celery, and a piccolo, and are these other things going to appear in
a pink trombone?
I think we'll probably see things like that. Yeah.
You see, that's not enough to satisfy me.
So do we have any comment? Has anyone made remarks about that? So
that's other than the fact that our voices are out of sync with the video.
Yeah.
Is it still
on the 50th?
Jitesh Vora 86 thinks that news is very disappointing.
Who's that? Jitesh. I agree with you, Jitesh. I can't even say your name. Sorry. But I agree with you.
There are lots of unhappy people, but...
And L4T Productions has just thrown in, I love Time and the Rani.
Thank you.
I do too as well, actually.
Big fan.
You're all arseholes.
Kato Mara can do no wrong.
Can't she?
And let's face it, the Rani actually does have the coolest TARDIS console as well.
She does. She's fabulous.
I can't.
Especially the center.
I can't.
Let's just not talk about time and relative done. What was the Children in Need one? Let's just not talk about that. I'm still bitter because, I voted for Big Ron to help the Doctor.
Oh, Big Ron. Yeah, whatever happened to Big Ron?
Well, he didn't help the Doctor, and I spent my money donating to charity for Big Ron to come and help. If you didn't know, you had a chance to vote. Two characters from EastEnders could have helped the Doctor. One was Big Ron. The other one was...
I think we need to explain what you're talking about. Dimensions in Time, 1993, 30th anniversary.
The Children in Need special. Yeah. Yes, the one that was... The dreadful one that was shot in 3D. Somebody held a feather over half the screen, and he was supposed to squint, and it looked 3D. It was dreadful, but Big Ron and was it? It wasn't Sonia. It was the one who ran away with the guy who went in to meet the Spartans. Sean Maguire.
Girl.
But she helped the Doctor.
Yeah.
It was great. It's a brilliant Dimensions in Time. Brilliant, a lot better than Time in the Rani, and most of Sylvester McCoy and Colin Baker's seasons put together. Anyway, no one's going to get annoyed at that.
Ollie Bishop says the BBC's treatment of a classic Doctors is disgusting.
Disgusting, and he put an exclamation mark there.
He did, but it would be better if you put disgusting in capitals next time.
Let's not beat around the handbag. The BBC haven't done a thing. The BBC didn't say we don't want any old Doctors back. The BBC didn't make that edict.
Who did? Is it Moffat?
The writers.
Whoever's writing the 50th anniversary. Do we know who that is?
Do we care at this point?
Who's writing it?
Some grumpy old Scots guy. I'm joking, of course. I'm not grumpy. So a lot of unhappy people today, but to be honest, the idea of seeing Tom Baker in modern Doctor Who does somewhat make me think, I'm glad they're not doing it. Because for me, it just would not work. The drama...
You could have worn a wig.
But also, I don't think you could cram everything in 60 minutes.
No.
I mean, 60 minutes seems to be a very short running time.
Yes.
For what should be the big showcase story of the year. And we get an extra 10 minutes. Yay!
Hey. I guess if you fed on crumbs, you should be happy.
So, if you want your classic Doctor's 50th anniversary, you're going to have to go to the Big Finish special.
Can I just say, I'm very much looking forward to the 50th anniversary special. It's going to be brilliant.
I'm looking forward to it. We shall see whether it's going to be brilliant.
It is going to be amazeballs.
But I'm happy for Zygons.
The 3D in it is apparently very good.
How would they know that? They haven't.
I know people
until
who
they've actually finished editing.
No, because when they film it, you can see them looking at it how it looks in 3D. So I know a couple of people who've seen 3D footage. So that's how I know.
Okay.
I didn't just make it up.
Okay, Megan Reeves says, I'm unhappy about the news regarding no other Doctors. However, I'm confident that Moffat will deliver in the 50th. And I have a theory, she continues, about the 50th, if any of you are interested to hear. I won't be offended if not.
No, we don't want theories.
And welcome, Megan, because I don't recall Megan in our chat room before.
No,
first poster, perhaps?
So, I don't want to say, no, we don't want to hear your theories. It's just that other people in the forums might not, on the chat, might not want to hear your theories. Some people might. It's just that we don't have time to read them. Because I suspect you probably have quite a lot to say.
Megan Reeves continues and asks, and finally, what do we think about the non-return of Captain Jack, aka John Barrowman? I'm actually quite pleased, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't like Jack Barrowman.
No, it's not. I just don't think we need Captain Jack in the 50th.
Why not? Everybody loves Captain Jack.
I just can't do aggressive drama.
There's like a list of other characters I would prefer over Captain Jack.
Apparently, I'm not going to tell that story. No, I can't. Ian Levine for showrunner, says Ollie Bishop.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm sure that would please you very much. I know you're a big Ian Levine animation fan.
Wasn't Ian Levine, wasn't he like 90s high energy in Manchester?
Yeah, well, something like that.
Take that. You see, I have a different take on Ian Levine.
Yeah, so...
Different take on everyone.
So that's the 50th anniversary. No old Doctors and Zygons.
I can live with Zygons.
Zygons is good. Yeah, I'm happy for Zygons.
Maybe Zygons are old Doctors in disguise.
Possibly.
It would be meta.
Whoa. It would be.
What if there were no past Doctors and the whole thing has been a dream?
Don't give Stephen ideas.
It's a little boy in a hospital.
The 11th Doctor wakes up and he just finds he's been in some sort of
cosmic shower.
And there's some sort of weird matrix thing that's implanted false memories in his head.
You should make me.
Or he's in like a kids' school in 1910.
Or no.
Or actually, everything since the brain of Morbius has just been the battle, and so it's just.
Okay, bye.
So every bad guy has just basically been an incarnation of Morbius
in
this big psychic battle, and then Tom Baker wakes up and it's all over.
Hello, Looney Bin.
Hi, Steve. That's my the next series idea. Right now, it's all been a dream. Okay.
And it's all to do with Morbius and so on. Of course, so on.
I suppose the thing about the 50th is that we've already had the 2 Doctors. We've had 3 Doctors. We've had 5 Doctors. We didn't have 4 Doctors.
No.
So maybe Chris. They should have just thrown more money at Chris. Said,
well,
hello, Paul McGann, come on back, come on home.
I'm sure money was not the deciding factor in Mr. Eccleston's decision.
Maybe he didn't want to shave his head again.
But maybe Mr. Paul McGann could have made him a request he never should have granted.
I'm regretting actually asking you to do that now because
Lovely view. So that's the 50th. That's all the news. It's not a quiet week for news.
It's a quiet week for news, yeah.
It is. But a devastating one for some. No older Doctors and no more episodes ever after Christmas. And of course Matt's off filming in Christmas in Hollywood, his new film.
The Gallifrey Times says Blogter's t-shirt is cool. It's very cool.
It is very good actually.
Oh, nice.
Have you seen it? Hold it up.
No.
It's the wrong shirt.
I don't want to advertise.
Well, Mr. Epic James has a different take. I would just like to see some classic actors in the 50th anniversary.
Classic actors? We've got John Hurt.
I think he means like Fraser Hines and sort of, couldn't Fraser Hines be in the background pushing a trolley?
Are you saying Fraser?
Well, what am I supposed to say?
Fraser.
Oh, whatever.
Doesn't have an eye, yeah.
Okay.
Speaking... What if you had Fraser Hines playing
somebody else?
Descendant of the Crinan? He's still part of the Crinan family.
Just a genetic spatial time anomaly, yeah.
And in fact, because he got returned to his time and he all knows about aliens, perhaps, everything
He ascended to the leader.
Torchwood and everything was all to do with his McCrinnan family.
Have you not
alien investigation?
Have you not been speaking to people this week? Yeah. This is gold.
This is gold. Big Finish should be hiring me. You know, I could.
You're brilliant. Yes, you're brilliant mind. Morbius, Jamie McCrimmon, all these amazing people. Speaking of Fraser Hines, he's appeared.
Look, Jake Bidmead, loving the brain of Morbius theory. Thank you very much,
Thank
Jake.
you. That's a vote of confidence. That's enough for Big Finish. On the phone in the morning.
I'm glad I'm not here next week. Fraser Hines is appearing at the BFI for their screening of The Two Doctors. That classic Colin Baker story.
Which is great, yeah.
He announced
Sontarans. In Spain. Sontarans in Spain. That's what they would have called it nowadays.
It would be.
Sontarans
on holiday.
Sontarans in a Spanish villa. That's a Stephen Moffat title.
It's an amazing Doctor Who story, The Two Doctors, isn't it?
I love it. Yeah.
You love it.
I do. I'm really. It's out of that series, other than Daleks. That's probably the second one.
Moving on. No, so that's the next BFI screening on the 15th. They haven't announced the guest, but he made this announcement on Twitter by himself. I don't think he was meant to, but so far there's no other confirmation of guests. Let's hope they get Colin. No, I wouldn't hold my breath.
And Mary D, maybe another first-time poster in our comments room, says, "I'm waiting for news that Bernard Cribbins is coming back."
Oh, I would love that. Mary, I heartily agree, and I like the fact you're Mary D. I like that. Mary D. Mary D. More. Mary D. I totally agree with you. Bernard Cribbins coming back would be phenomenal. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it could. Oh, I just contradicted myself there.
You did.
It would be.
I think it's a 50-50.
He either will be in it or he won't. It's difficult, but I'm sure that Cardiff have managed to get loads of people without being spotted.
Do you think William Hill will open a book on various other things to do with the 50th?
They probably have already. Yeah, I'm sure you
Matt Smith family will be sort of like there weekly for and upping up the odds and putting on bets.
He's not regenerating. Like they did. Do you want to say something that you shouldn't say for libelous reasons? Yeah, so absolutely. That's the news this week. We've kind of overran on news.
Yes. Wow.
Slightly, yeah. So shall we do a preview of Crimson Horror, then talk about?
Yes, if you'd like to.
And then
do that first.
Yeah. So get your comments in on Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, please. And we'll get LSR reading those out. And the next episode is on Saturday. It's called The Crimson Horror. And it's the 100th episode of Doctor Who since its return in 2005.
Excellent.
100 episodes.
Who would have thought they would have got that far? Sontarans in Spain again. He's giving the class.
It's 100 episodes. Isn't that incredible?
That's incredible. But actually, it seems there should be more. I don't know. It seems not enough.
Well, that's because we had the Tennant specials year and we had the Lazy Moffat year.
Never a year of Lazy Moffat year.
Yeah. 100 episodes. That's such a glorious number to get to. Well done, Doctor Who.
And how many episodes altogether is that then?
Well, I think it's coming close to 800.
I think it's coming up to 800.
It's around about the 800 mark. I'm sure someone tells.
Somebody's swiftly.
So we've got lovely Mark Gatiss writing the story for the Crimson Horror.
Do you want to explain where the pronunciation comes from? Because he is from the north and would pronounce it Gattis.
He pronounces it Gatiss.
Yeah, but because he's a soft southerner these days. But the guys from the north, he would have called it Gattis growing up.
It's called Gatiss.
He's got posh now.
I guess if you say it in a northern accent,
keep going posh.
What would come out if you say it in a northern accent?
Gattis.
I don't do accents. Hey, love, it's Mark Gattis.
It was. You've just proven
Mark, that was me doing a comedy thing there. Gatiss. It's Mark Gatiss. You see, you can do both ways.
Matt, come on, lad.
Pronunciations aside, and I will remind you both that I studied linguistics at university.
Oh, get over it. I studied theology doesn't mean that. Yeah.
Look at us now.
Absolutely.
Discussing this great story. Mark Gatiss is back, second story this year, Cold War, of course, which you all enjoyed thoroughly. Almost.
I know, I enjoyed it. I mean, I had my problems with it, but
it was good.
Left me hungry like the wolf.
This guy. He's back with Crimson Horror. It's full of surprises, this story, and I certainly won't spoil it. And the BBC have released pictures that haven't spoiled. There's a few big surprises.
I tell you what I do like. I do like seeing pictures and seeing the companion actually dress up.
You
know,
I bet you do.
Well, you know, we went to the Sci-fi London Doctor Who parade.
You're not going to say what I think you're going to say, are you?
Well, no.
Go on, yeah, you might as well.
And when people dress up as companions and they just dress up with like a red leather jacket and that's all you need because that's what a companion wore.
Martha Jones.
There's nothing identifiable then about that character, you know. Whereas, I mean, obviously Leela's got her particular outfit, but you know the fact that she would dressed up in Victorian outfit to go for the talents of Wen Chiang, you know, trying to blend in and stuff. So I've kind of been annoyed over the recent years when we've had companions who haven't tried to blend in, because we've always accepted the Doctor's own style is timeless for the most part. Not all
By
the time.
timeless you mean sticks out like a sore thumb.
Exactly.
Everybody's too polite to say anything.
But the companion has historically, wherever possible, I suppose, kind of tried to blend in.
Yeah, so she's dressed up.
You can't wear a miniskirt in Victorian London. Or a pair of jeans. That's the thing.
No,
that's the point.
You can't. And remember what? Yeah, you can't. You could, but it wouldn't be good.
It wouldn't be good. You'd just be sticking out like a sore thumb.
Sticking out, indeed. She looks great in this episode. They released a clip today. It's a great flashback, and there's a beautiful reference to Peter Davison's era. And Tegan refers to a gobby Australian. Did you see it? And then he says Braveheart to Clara.
Yes, that's the sort of reference that I like.
It was very nice.
When they did in Rings of Chaka Khan or whatever, and it had that big fanfare, and he was like, "Oh, I came here with my granddaughter." But this was the sort of reference that I love. It was throwaway. It was really quick.
It's nice.
And I'm not going to spoil it for the people who haven't seen it. Maybe you can spoil it.
I shan't.
He says.
In what?
In the little clip.
I just said Braveheart, Clara.
No, before that.
Or the gobby Australian.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's out there. It's not a spoiler.
Well, he says, I'm paraphrasing, but he says, I had problems getting a gobby Australian into Heathrow.
Yeah.
And you see that?
It's nice.
I loved.
And we did northern accents, but Matt and Jenna rather do northern accents in it. And it's funny. I mean, this is part of
every planet has a north.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Every planet has a north. That's not right. It's a fun episode. Although for me, tonally, it jumps from being quite serious and to being very funny. And for me, it doesn't quite work. Especially the ending, I think, is misjudged. I wasn't too keen on Riggs' performance at the end, but it is a lot of fun. It looks great. Strax and Vastra and Jenny are back, very much leading the way.
They can do those characters can do no wrong. As far as
they're very good in it. It's not quite Dr. Light as some people would have you believe. I will say there are a lot of big shocks in the story. It's very good. It's fun, but yeah, I wasn't too keen on the ending, to be honest.
I did not recognise Diana Rigg.
She said the same about you.
I know. She talks fondly of me. She's just said you look like Sylvester McCoy. But no, I didn't. I thought it was one of the Victoria Wood stock actresses, and then it was only like a few days later it was like, oh, that's Diana Rigg.
Beautiful Diana Rigg.
Only because she wasn't in like a catsuit and sort of cartwheeling.
You have not moved on since the 60s, man.
I have not moved on since the 60s. Unfortunately, my hair has.
So it's an interesting episode, and I think a lot of people will really enjoy it.
I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah. So that's my little preview.
Cool. We like the preview.
Thanks. I'll preview Nightmare in Silver towards the end of the episode if we have to end. Do we call this an episode?
This is an episode.
Yeah.
Episode 44.
Whoa.
We'll soon be celebrating our 50th anniversary.
I won't be here. I've not been asked back.
I'm taking over. Get your votes in for the Sylvester McCoy lookalike.
Crimson Horror, a lot of fun on Saturday at 6:30, probably. I don't know. Somewhere over there. And then on the internet. So shall we move on to last week's episode?
Bless you.
Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS.
Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS. And I'd like to say that I'm very pleased that centre is spelt the British way, and we haven't. BBC Worldwide haven't said, well, we have to spell it the American way.
We haven't pandered.
Because, we're BBC Worldwide, and we say whatever we say goes.
Why would they say that?
because everything like running time is done for the Americans audience, right?
Running time? What you got?
44 minutes.
44 minutes has to be the American running time,
Okay.
not the British running time.
What's the British running time?
60.
For a BBC One drama, it would be 55.
57. Don't be so naive. Doctor Who has its own beasts. Come on.
No, it's being made for Americans these days. Like, why else would they do something in, so many shows set in New York or sort of cowboy town? They're doing it for an American audience.
They're taking the British audience for granted.
If they were making it for an American audience, they wouldn't have 5 episodes in 1 year. That's where your argument slightly falls down, gentlemen. If they're making it for an American audience,
repeat it constantly over and over.
If they would have.
Have you ever watched BBC America? It is like the constant repeat channel.
I don't.
It is just repeats.
It's UK Gold.
I'm not allowed in the America anymore.
Oh, they've been banned from America.
Yeah, I've been banned from America for my opinions. Johnny to the centre of the TARDIS. Nice of you guys to get your political, anti-American stance out there. Nice.
Hands up who spent 4 lovable years there. Where were you?
You just put his hand up.
I was Philly. I was a Philly boy.
You're very Philly.
Speaking of which, my short film Sweetheart is playing in Philadelphia, if you're there, at the Westchester Film Festival this week. Or actually, it just finished last week, so I missed it, sorry.
So go back in time.
So, Johnny's Enter TARDIS, Elisar, what did you make of the...
Johnny's Descent of the TARDIS. Ooh, my God.
Oh, we've gone black.
We did. Johnny's Descent of the TARDIS,
Just be honest.
I want to say I loved it and it was amazing. I loved bits of it.
What bits did you love?
What bits did I love? I loved the fact that we were inside the TARDIS. We saw other bits of the TARDIS.
Not much.
I was pleased that, some of the rooms that Clara ends up in, are these... It sort of lent itself to the strange building looks of in Invasion of Time. She enters the room and you've got stone walls and things. So, we haven't quite jumped the whole idea of the fact that some rooms actually look like they belong in a house as opposed to inside a spaceship. But unfortunately, they had some very bad actors as guest stars.
Controversial.
And it was it kind of they stank up a lot of the scenes. I'm sorry,
stank up.
It was some bad acting.
Wow, bad acting. Yeah, they were not a convincing trio.
They were not convincing at all. No.
I had a slight problem with the fact that one of them died and the other brother really didn't care. I know he was meant to be a heartless guy, but
you don't care. No.
Yeah,
you just don't.
And what was more distressing is the Doctor didn't really seem to care either. And it comes back to this point of when does the Doctor start caring about someone?
About human beings, other than a companion, yeah.
Or a child.
I'm
glad that thing that I actually brought up 2 weeks ago was is preying on your conscience.
My conscience.
Yes.
So what did you make of Johnny to the Centre American spelling of the TARDIS?
I think it squandered the opportunity. It could have been phenomenal, and it was like all they needed was Doug McClure. And, that's what was missing from this episode. I didn't get the Ash zombies. I'm sure people are sort of like
time zombies.
They were made of ash. Why were they so violent?
Yeah, they didn't make sense.
No.
Yeah,
and it was also the fact that you instantly became a time zombie.
Yeah,
and a bloodthirsty maniac straight away, and it was like.
The big friendly button. I really did I like the concept of big friendly button, but not. But to reset it.
That's the thing. Is the criticisms of Doctor Who in the past few years is having
the big friendly button.
The big friendly button, and to actually take that literally and put it into the story as doesn't matter what we're going to do because we're just going to press a button, everything's fine.
But if you're going to draw attention to the big friendly button, make it not work. Make it that the one time when it does not work, and then they have to think of some other way of doing it. That would have been a great way.
Yeah, I was not keen on the ending at all. It stank. A bit like the Paul McGann ending. It had a similar feel.
Well, Megan Reeves disagrees and says, contrary to what some may say, I love the Van Balen brothers.
Whoa! Great band. I saw them in concert back in '75. They opened with their song
Jump.
"Killing My Brother." So what are other people saying?
L4T Productions. I loved Journey. The resolution of what the zombies were genius, and I can rarely say that to a new series resolution. Gallifrey Times, brilliant episode. However, I think they could have explored the TARDIS more. Seemed very restricted to corridors.
I think it's like they didn't have a budget for this. It was corridor, going to a room,
And then green screen rooms.
corridor. Yeah, absolutely. And the whole you're an android thing. It's like, well you know, actually no, you're human.
It didn't seem very convincing because I think surely you can tell if you're a human.
Yeah, sort of, you know, unless, you know, the positronic brain makes you sort of, you know,
the fact that he might
eat
need to
and defecate.
he might need to go to to the toilet and eat food. It would seem kind of a bizarre.
I feel like I missed something there. Did you just say defecate?
I just said defecate. Well,
Humans
apparently
have to
I
do
can
that.
say because
As a human, you would still have to do that, even if you're pretending to someone they're an android. That's only going to last for a couple of hours before they actually have to eat food and go to the bathroom and then fall asleep as well.
Yeah.
Now you got annoyed when the BBC released that picture of the book.
Yeah.
Why did you get? Because I didn't think it was that important.
Well, because
It was what she read that was important.
No. Shush. Let me finish.
Okay.
It was because when that book appeared, it's like, whoa, that's a surprise. But so I was completely unaware that it was going to be in it. So the minute that book appears, like, whoa, that's amazing. Whereas they released the picture, so then people, it's like, oh, right.
I guess, but there was enough for the fanboy to sort of.
I don't mean a spoiler in the sense of the story. It's just as a surprise.
Yeah.
They keep. Well, they haven't done it this week, but they keep spoiling surprises. I think let people have this enjoyment on screen, which most people will, because there's not that many people that see.
And then I suppose the question next would be, should you have this book in the library of the TARDIS?
And who wrote it?
And who wrote it?
And I mean, there is one big plot point that
Susan wrote it.
She opens a book, and she just happens to be the
page
yeah,
where it's his name or whatever.
Yours,
Boy George.
The whole book is sort of, you know, sort of the Doctor did it. His real name is
the guy you're with is Satan,
and they wrote
Mr.
it in English,
Punch.
of course, as well.
The TARDIS translates.
But if you look at the Gallifreyan symbols, why aren't those all in English? They're still in Gallifreyan.
Because they come from before. I don't know.
No,
19 Sci-fi 73 says the trio stank up the script. Although he's in capital, so he's shouting it.
The trio stank up the script. Well,
He's shouting, and I completely
they
agree.
stank up the scenes, really, actually.
Also, 19 Sci-fi 73 continues. A Dr. Clara only episode is needed.
Also in capitals.
Yeah.
Take your caps lock off or calm down.
Or both.
Ollie Bishop, though, disagrees. Love Journey, 9 out of 10. That's high ranking.
9 out of 10 what? Script editors needed to actually make a decent episode out of that?
Whoa! Probably.
Jake Bidmead, I didn't even like the corridors that much. Quite plain.
I
It looked more like a Dalek city than a TARDIS.
I agree. I thought the corridors weren't that good. It just looked like they were in the submarine.
And we
again.
actually had better corridors the previous.
Yeah. I think the Doctor's wife had better corridors.
Yeah.
Showing my age, there was that great when French and Saunders did Aliens, and they just constantly kept on running up and down the corridor. And they even made a joke on the fan that it was the same corridor they were running up and down constantly. And I needed something like that, you know.
Yeah. All these corridors look the same. Someone should have said it.
Well, they should.
I think the corridors were designed by the Nymon.
I for me, it was an episode that was quite exciting in parts, but really, the whole time zombie thing.
This should have been actually an amazing episode.
It should have been.
It should have been an amazing episode.
Should have been, could have been, wasn't.
And I mean, there's so many small points that you start picking up on, like the Doctor and Clara got separated. But how did that happen? Also, Clara seems to be in the middle of a corridor, not actually in the TARDIS console when
she get blown through a door.
Well, I suppose that can happen, but it's just from a narrative point of view, from a visual point of view, it's like, well, how did they? And then you start picking up on these things. Normally, if it was a good story, you would forgive it.
Sorry, all the stuff that the TARDIS was in, all the like the sort of the.
How did the stuff get out?
Was that actually TARDIS stuff?
Well, that was
just a generic.
That was the
space
implication in the.
Was that like TARDIS guts?
Because like, why was the Doctor
outside?
His
leg sticking out.
Yeah.
I had his leg sticking out like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
I really wanted the shoes to come
quite a funny.
How did all that stuff come out?
There was some good stuff with Clara towards the end where he thinks they're about to die, And he says, right, who are you? It's very interesting. He's still desperate to find out who she is.
To find out.
Yeah, but a bit too psychotic about it.
Slightly, that's how you have to be with the young ladies these days. Joe.
Cameron single. Whereas I sort of like, me and Alisar, we both have happily married wedding rings on, sort of, so draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, but you're also 103.
In dog years.
Any other comments?
Andy Oliver 232, the 232nd Andy Oliver, who registered on
It's a
YouTube.
popular name, Andy Oliver.
Journey to the Centre of the Yawn.
Thank you,
Far
Andy.
too much technobabble. Didn't care for the Bailey's development because they were unlikable.
Yeah, they
Far
were
too
unlikable.
many illogical plot twists. This episode stunk.
Mr. Epic
Harsh
James.
but fair.
Epic James, I think you're picking yourself up a little bit there. He says, I think this episode did very well with norms, e.g. non-fanboys. Norms, I like that.
Actually, no, I disagree.
Really? Have you had a
It's
chat
actually
with
done for the fanboys.
I don't believe you know any norms.
I know, because the first thing I do when I actually watch an episode, and if I don't like it, I immediately go online and look at the reviews to make sure, that bigger boys agree with me. And yeah, it's sort of io9.com had a great review, and it just said, we are sick of these timey-wimey making up the rules as you go along episodes. And it said the fanboys would like it, but most people will be scratching their heads.
Scratching their what?
Heads.
Yeah, it's...
You mock me, you're Scottish and you mock my accent?
No, I was being funny.
Okay, fair enough.
I thought it was a rude thing. L4T Production says...
I'm quite fed up with people saying that the umbrella Clara picked up was her governess one. It's Sylvester's first one.
I didn't notice an umbrella.
She picks it up. I care. She picked,
Doctor Who Forever 100 says, thank you L4T Productions, it's the one in Paradise Towers.
Nicely spotted. So
wow, that is a spot.
There.
I have to say.
So some people seem
Who said
to...
that? Who was that?
That's from L4T Productions.
L4T, I think you sort of, you need to phone in and you can give your little sort of in-jokes and stuff because, you're on the ball.
Hold on, it was Doctor Who Forever 100 that says it's the one in Paradise Towers. Come on, guys.
Sorry.
Come on. So some people seem to really like it, but some people not so much. It's just another week in the world of Doctor Who.
And week spelled W-E-A-K.
Whoa.
I like making you say whoa. Because you're Scottish and you say it with a H.
Thinking about Clara and when he's asking her who is she and she doesn't know. The other bit of news this week, was it an interview this week that Jenna says Clara hasn't met the Doctor just 3 times.
Yes, it was in a BBC press interview. Yeah.
I'm more interested in the fact that they actually named her coming from South Lancashire.
Is it going to be a character that we've come across before?
No, it's going to be her, and something's going to happen in the name of the Doctor, and it'll be the same as like Donna.
Of course,
because she was just normal Donna, but all that time she was the Dr. Donna. That's why she was brought to works, but we didn't know it, the Doctor didn't know it. But then we saw the point where she became the Dr. Donna, and that's why she became such a complicated event. Yeah. So it'll be something like that. Again, it'll be like...
Of course, it could just be meaningless, because obviously if she meets the 10th Doctor in the 50th special, then yes, she would have met the Doctor more than 3 times.
Yeah, that's true. And they do meet...
And he'd have to pretend not to have known.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't... He can't have...
But I think it's one person. It's going to be like Bad Wolf. She sends out this message. I think that's how I think. No, I mean,
you don't think she's some sort of renegade Time Lord spirit type
no.
thing? It's gonna...
No. No.
You don't think she's actually River Song?
No.
In the future?
No.
Susan. Is she Susan?
She's the Rani. The other thing that came out actually...
Kate O'Mara's back.
No, she's regenerated, thank God. The other bit of news that was brought out, and it just reminded me, was in Doctor Who magazine, Stephen Moffat has said that the River Song that's in the name of the Doctor is a post-library Doctor. River. A post-library river.
Okay.
So, on that bombshell, shall we talk about...
So her brain has been downloaded, I suppose, since... Because her physical body...
Her brain's been downloaded into Chameleon. Chameleon's back! Finally!
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I love chameleon.
It's
I'm
a
the one
Zygon.
person in the world who likes
And a
chameleon.
Tesselector.
She's a Zygon.
And a ganger. So let's move on from that story to the Peter Davison era, and I think we can all be agreed that Peter Davison, the greatest Doctor Who ever of all time.
After Tom Baker, of course, and Matt Smith. And
You're only saying that because everybody always says their favourite, the best Doctor is the one that they grew up with, the first one that they started watching. So you first started watching Peter Davison.
No.
he's
How old is he?
he
I'm
came
39.
He came towards the end of Tom Baker.
Yeah.
He was not in the best years of Tom Baker, right? No. Well, there you go. So your first Doctor is Peter Davison.
So yeah, it was Peter Davison. So that's why you're sort of.
But he's not my first Doctor. He's the Doctor.
He's the Doctor that you remember most because your brain is formative.
No, he's the one. No, let me clarify this because
he is a great Doctor.
Because I can vividly remember Tom Baker's last two series. Vividly, the Reel of the Scaroth.
Yeah,
in my mind.
We had a very good time on the train talking about Scaroth.
Those two seasons, but it was only until Peter Davison years that I remember thinking, I really love this show. Yeah. That's when I became a proper fan. So
this is true.
Technically, Tom is my first, but he's not. I don't class him as my Doctor. I class him as some oaf. I'm joking.
You may remember your first, but you remember your best.
He's your prequel Doctor.
Doctor 0.5.
It's a weird thing to say. So Peter Davison, who is appearing at the BFI on Saturday. I'm going to be going along. It's exciting. They're showing Caves of Androzani.
Cool.
Some tickets went on sale to the public today.
Did they? Wow. I wish I could get one.
Well, you're not getting one. You refused. So we're going to first of all talk about The Visitation.
Right.
Which is it's coming out on DVD. An unspecified.
Because it actually is already out if you want to get it, but there's a special edition version coming out.
A 2-disc special edition. They have actually cleaned up the footage, so it looks a lot better on the actual story itself. There's some interesting new extras. They get Peter Davison, they get Sarah Sutton, Janet Fielding, and Mark Strickson all together to visit the locations of the Visitation.
Mark
Strickson.
Really?
Yeah. You seem surprised.
Well, what's wrong with Matthew? Why can't they have him involved?
I mean, that's a whole different question. What is wrong with Matthew?
That's an episode in itself.
What is right with Matthew?
I just wish I could be on. I wish I had my allegedly signed.
They have a bit of a dig at Matthew in there.
This is just outrageous.
Is it?
Yes.
No, not really.
He was part of the TARDIS crew. They should have TARDIS crew solidarity.
Well, I'm sure, as Matthew doesn't spend a lot of time in the UK, I'm sure that was prohibitive to making the documentary.
Right.
They
should just pay his airfare and say, look, come over, we need you.
Right, well,
yeah.
I'm sure in your pie in the sky world of, we'll just pay him to come over. Maybe they did and he said no. You think about that?
Well,
did you think about that? So Mark Strickson is kind of moderating the chat between Peter, Janet and Sarah as they visit locations. It's a lot of fun. It's slightly overlong and it feels kind of familiar, especially as the next extra is a visit to TV Centre, and it's the same bunch again, but this time in TV Centre. So by the time, I love watching Peter and Janet and Sarah and Mark, but it was just a whole two, and they're both about 40 minutes, a bit too long, a bit tedious.
Too much.
And there's another great instalment of The Doctor Forever, where they, oh God, I can't remember what they look at in that one. I think it's
pictures.
No, I think it's audio, and there's a great, it's audio, and there's a great interview with Russell T Davies where he talks about how he saved Big Finish because
from a dragon?
From the BBC, because the BBC were pulling in all the licenses, and because he knew that if Mal Young had known about Big Finish going on, making new Doctor Who stories, that he would have said, no, that's going to stop. So Russell stepped in and said, it's okay, I'll take care of this.
Velvet Mafia.
And of course Mal Young Mal Young left Doctor Who shortly after that, so it wasn't an issue. He also in that interview talks about how he wished that he'd got Nick Briggs to write a story for Doctor Who. He said that was one of his regrets. So again, that's a great little piece as well. I'm not sure if the special edition is entirely
worth it over the regular one, yeah.
But the story itself, whoa, classic 10 out of 10 Peter Davison story. What do you think, guys?
Bora86 says The Visitation is the Fifth Doctor's best story.
Yes.
That and the Caves of Androzani.
Yes.
Actually, the ending of episode 1 where they're at the wall, that was the first ever Doctor Who cliffhanger I can remember.
Oh, really?
Seriously.
What age are you?
I'm exactly. How old do you think I am?
Well, 52.
You cheeky. I'm probably younger than you.
Yeah, well, right, okay, right.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the first cliffhanger you can remember.
The first Doctor Who cliffhanger, apart from
He's young.
Jaggeroff. You know, apart from that and Jaggeroff, is the first, the actual proper first Doctor Who cliffhanger I can remember as a child.
Yeah. So was it good?
I asked me to pronounce the villain, the creatures.
The
names.
pteroleptals.
I'm glad you said that because I cannot say that.
Pteroleptals.
No, I just do not have the.
Drop the sonic device. What pteroleptal impression?
The Visitation. I tell you, the Visitation is good.
It's brilliant. It's not just good.
It's good.
It's amazing.
It's good.
Come on.
It's good.
Sylvester McCoy couldn't have done a story like that.
I think he would have done it superbly.
Worse.
Bigger hair.
When you're watching, because there's a lot of scenes outdoors, and you're watching those, and it's all shot on film, and it just looks beautiful. You know, the lighting, this camera work is gorgeous. And
It's absolutely beautiful.
You kind of just wish they just kept on shooting on film.
I know.
When they go inside, so it's just suddenly
It's like,
the whole lighting
right.
changes and everything.
You're in this clunk, clunk, clunk. Yeah.
But on the whole,
It's
an enjoyable romp.
Didn't like the disco robot.
You didn't?
Well, he was a bit disco, wasn't he?
The disco robot is kind of an odd.
Do you know?
He
Do you know?
stands out.
Do you know why he's like that?
Because
Because-
there was this performance band called TikTok going around at the same time, and they were on Saturday morning television. That's why, yeah.
I think they
you
borrowed the outfit from Starlight Express.
You see, you guys, you don't pay attention to the story. Pteroleptals
Go around buying androids.
Disco androids.
As you
K9
obviously
was next on
missed,
the list.
the pteroleptals were great lovers of war, but also very cultured.
They're very cultured.
And that's why
absolutely.
That's why the robot was so cultured looking, with bejewels and stuff. Because they love war.
Because in the future
Barnsley,
they have
1965.
Yeah.
In space they had the space version of Starlight Express, which is all performed by androids, and that was the one they could afford at the time. After they were runaway criminals,
They were.
and so didn't have much money
For a crime they didn't commit. Well, probably did.
It does suffer from the usual thing of Peter Davison era monsters, where the costume designer hasn't really thought out properly
It's
how the costume is actually going to work
Yeah.
in real life with actors.
It's a pity because it's a great design, and there's times when it looks really good, but the movement.
I mean, they just needed to have another slit here
Yeah.
for the arms, because it's like you kind of think, well, how do they build things when they can't really move their arms and hands?
But his jaw moves. I was very impressed by that.
The jaw is great, especially when it snarls as
Yeah,
well.
it's
It
quite
snarls
nasty,
and
quite
the
nasty.
lips come up.
Nah.
So that
Drop
was
the
great.
sonic device. And that ending, starting the Great Fire of London, that's amazeballs.
Yeah,
No?
wasn't that supposed to be a spoiler?
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Guys. You just waited.
But it's
just ruined the whole thing for
It's
you.
a classic. To me, it's a very Billy Hartnell kind of story. It's an Earth invasion. You know, in the countryside, it's brilliant, and that eerie beginning is fantastic.
Again, it's just one of these sort of period stories that, because they're period, it makes those Doctor Who stories actually a bit more timeless.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
watch them even now and actually enjoy it because it's all lovely costumes and nice sets and things, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. It's a brilliant story. Not total. I mean, it's representative of his era in some respects, but in others, no. Similarly, Caves of Androzani, which people often cite as the best Doctor Who story ever. It's not really representative of his era because he's changed by that point from.
I mean, and again, it does have the problem of they don't know what to do with all the companions at this. You know, so Nyssa is kind of confined in
making
the TARDIS,
beds in the TARDIS,
essentially doing nothing other than fiddling around in.
She gets
folding sheets.
She kills the
yeah,
disco
she gets
robot.
the Sonic
with
with the Sonic bomb or whatever the hell it was.
But
Yeah.
they had to find a role for Nyssa in this one.
Yeah, that did happen. Look at Kinder. You know, Nyssa gets put away in the
Poor Nyssa.
put away in the
She
TARDIS. Nick Kinder, one of my favourite Doctor Who stories ever. I love that one. It's so inventive and includes the line, "You can't mend people." It's brilliant, and I have the power of life and death over all of you. It's a favourite of mine. And also his first season had stuff like Earthshock, and I don't know if you remember Earthshock.
Somebody's actually just said Earthshock is my favourite.
19 Sci-fi 73 then it was.
Yeah.
And then everybody likes Earthshock for one reason.
Robert Thomas says, I like the Visitation for the Fifth Doctor and Richard Mace double act alone.
Richard Mace, what a memorable and enjoyable character he is.
Is he the thespian?
Yeah.
He's very much the thespian.
Yes.
Travelling thespian.
Yeah, he.
My gun.
He's very good. I do enjoy Richard Mace's performance.
I love a few hair sauces as well.
It's very good. Yeah, Peter Davison had a number of good guest starring roles that people come in. But Earthshock, great story. Again, that first episode in the caves and stuff. Whoa, it was great. And then the reveal of the Cybermen, and then that sad death of the little boy. What was his name?
Tragic.
Yeah.
Andy Oliver 232. The Visitation is good. Caves and Kinder are better.
Yes, I would absolutely agree with that.
Kind of.
Yes. Kinda. And of course, Peter Davison got to do that brilliant story, The Five Doctors.
He did.
With another disco robot.
That was a very erotic.
It's the most homoerotic robot in history. That's Captain C3PO.
Peter also got some interesting two-parters.
Yes, now a two-part format.
Black Orchid, which I think is a perfectly brilliant story. I mentioned it in my piece for Den of Geek last week. Did you read that one? 25 underappreciated Doctor Who stories?
No, I didn't. No, I missed it. Did you put a link out for it?
Yes.
I did. I actually read it.
Well, thank you very much. I'm not
the one.
speaking to... What do you mean you were the one? It's a very popular piece. Mr. Gareth Roberts commented on it.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah. Anyway,
actually, I
Black
completely agree
Orchid.
with most of them.
Well, thank you. I'm very wise. Black Orchid was one of the stories.
Black Orchid, which is great.
Along with The Awakening, I chose that because it's one that often gets forgotten about.
Yeah.
And The Awakening has that great monster, the Malice, and again set in the past and the present. Well, mainly the present, but the past comes into the present. And the other two-parter was, of course, The King's Demons, which...
Oh, yes. Chameleon. Can't do any wrong with Chameleon.
Yeah, not quite so good, that one. His last season kicked off with Warriors of the Deep.
The classic Silurian story.
Karate wielding. Oh, I'm forgetting the previous season where we had the return of the Black and White Guardians.
Yes.
After the Key to Time. And the introduction of Turlo, a fascinating
Turlo,
companion.
Yeah, no, see, Turlo is...
What are you going to say about Turlo?
Turlo is one of my favourites.
Oh, good.
It's like...
I thought you were going to say something bad about him.
And that actually would be a character that I would happily have come
Yeah.
back for a story, for something, because like Clara, there's the it's the whole mystery.
He was very mysterious, although they explained everything.
They explained everything.
He was a great character, and I thought Mark did a really good job. Although when you hear his commentaries, he can say, "Look at this! Every scene in this story, I turn my back. Yeah, I do like a shifty turnaround after every scene he's in." And sure enough, he does. And then the other thing he does is the opening and undoing of the jacket that he does.
Well, for those who don't know, I mean, they introduced this companion Turlo, who's there in the TARDIS crew, and his sole mission is to try and kill the Doctor. It's just genius.
He almost does. He has a rock over his head at one point.
Yeah.
And the
Doctor keeps forgiving him and says,
you're all right.
You're all right.
He's all right. Yeah, it's quite funny because he's in the TARDIS when they first meet. I'm like, oh, hello. It's nice. But he was great. And the chemistry between them worked very well.
It works very well, and it's.
And of course, Mark Strickson got to hold bikini-clad Nicola Bryant. I don't know if you remember that particular scene.
Everybody remembers that.
Do you remember it well?
Of course I remember it, because for reasons that I'm not going to talk about on camera.
Oh.
She was in a bikini, he happened to be in shorts.
Now I understand.
It's a two-way street.
This freak on two-way streets. Yeah. But I will say, Caves of Androzani is an absolute blinder of a story. Those cliffhangers are amazing. And you have that moment, and some people forgot this. Some people criticise the End of Time because he seemed to be putting off his regeneration. But he does it in Caves of Androzani. he has the foreshadowing of the regeneration at the end of episode 3,
that's right, yeah.
and he puts it off
Yeah.
to save his companion. So it wasn't a first. So that was an amazing moment, and that regeneration. It's still, when I watch it, my heart pounds. It's brilliant. Lovely Perry gets saved, and he's dying, and then his final word is Adric.
Yes.
Which all that time, the pain of losing Adric was still on his conscience.
Still on his conscience, yeah.
Yeah, and then of course you got a brilliant introduction for Colin Baker, who sadly, I was going to swear there, like a really bad one, but yeah, Colin Baker appeared. He had a brilliant start, and
it's a brilliant start. It's just
and how tragically it went downhill. But Caves of Androzani, if you haven't seen it, it's an amazing story. It's I don't want to use the word gritty, but it's very earthy and very real.
Well, it's also very classic as well, and that's the thing. You know, it's obviously influenced by the Phantom of the Opera in parts of the story.
Yeah.
So it feels very. It's like you feel familiar with the story. That's because of that.
Yeah, and I love the sides to camera that what's his face does. And talks to the camera. It's really good. I love it. Somebody here says, Mr. Epic James, Modern Undead. Yep, love Modern Undead. He says, it's one of my favourite Davison stories. Very timey-wimey, it is. And the thing about Modern Undead, it's coming up in my top 50. Spoilers. It's very fast. The pace is very fast. It's very Moffat-y. Or Moffat-y is rather very modern-y.
Well, this was Moffat-y as well, just a different Moffat.
Yeah, that's right.
Visitation.
Yeah.
Peter Moffat was the director of the Visitation.
Yeah.
Any relation?
Not to me.
It's easier to get a job on Doctor Who with a name like Moffat.
Yeah. Well, he's Moffat, but the other ones are spelled differently.
Georgia Moffat.
Yeah.
If you're Moffat, you've got a high percentage chance.
And Peter Moffat, of course.
Of guessing.
Peter Davison.
Grand Moff Target.
That's his real name. Jeterish Fora 86 says, I liked Warriors of the Deep. I am the only one. Aww.
And Jitesh Vora also says, Perry looks so much like Natalie Portman.
Marcus Judge says, don't talk to me about Warriors of the Deep. Warriors of the Cheap. Warriors on the Cheap, like it.
No, top marks.
The thing is, that one of those stories, again, you think, oh, this is going to be epic because it's like Sea Devils and Silurians.
And yet
yes, it was a journey
not.
to the centre of the TARDIS. It was one of those.
So Peter Davison, a lovely doctor, and he's never been bettered. The end.
Since him, but obviously there were ones before him.
Yeah, but
could have been better.
William Hartnell was close.
Cast your comments now.
Yeah. Tom Baker is rubbish. You know he's rubbish.
Ollie Bishop says, leave Colin alone. Thank you, Ollie.
Why am I wanting to...
To what?
To leave Colin alone.
I didn't touch Colin.
You did. You constantly criticised.
Why should I leave him alone? He came into my life, took my doctor from me, and effed up the show.
Oh, those feelings still hurt. It's been 25
I think
years.
Colin's a lovely guy, allegedly, but his portrayal of the Doctor was utterly abysmal, and I look forward to our Colin Baker show whenever the hell that is.
I have to say, I have listened to some Colin Baker Big Finishes because people recommend his performance as the Doctor in Big Finish, and I do enjoy him.
Yeah, I think
a
he's
lot.
good at Big Finish, actually.
He's
the
actually
one that I've heard.
He's a good actor. You know.
Is he?
Yes.
Oh, I've seen no evidence of Colin Baker being a good actor. What did he do after Doctor Who? Out of curiosity.
I'm just trying to get me out of here.
Got big.
He got big.
I'm sure he was doing
Eyes.
plenty of theatre, which you wouldn't necessarily have seen unless you were following his career and travelling from city to city.
Well, he did the Ultimate
Eating
Adventure.
pies.
The Ultimate Adventure.
Yeah, he did that. I'm sure Colin Baker is not the world's worst actor. Somebody else.
That's John Barrowman.
I was going to say Sylvester. Anyway, I'm just being funny about Colin. Except, I really don't like him. I mean, that's just it. You know,
He's not nice.
there's loads of things in Doctor Who, as I'm sure people who watched this past couple of weeks realise. I don't like it all. Some of it's great, some of it's not.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I just get on with it. I know some people care.
Apparently someone's phone is fuzzing the sound.
Not mine.
Fuzzing the sound.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, it's not me.
Ollie Bishop, Black Orchid is my favourite Davison. Glad that Nissa got a chance to shine.
Yes, she's very good because Sarah gets, of course, the dual roles in that story. Yeah, she's really nice in it, and I can see why Peter wanted to get rid of everybody and just be with him and her. Maybe there were other reasons. Oh, you don't have the sign to say allegedly.
Allegedly.
They do make a very classic Doctor Who couple.
Yeah.
In the sense that she's quite clever, which I like, but he's still there guiding her. But I think Peter's wrong in the sense of somebody like Tegan is brilliant because she's from Earth and she does ask the questions, why are we doing this? But she's also ballsy enough to do her own thing, apart from when she has to walk in high heels and the Death Zone and Gallifrey.
and the Visitation has another one of her scenes where she gets to sort of stare at the camera sort of blankly when she's possessed.
Yeah.
And she's done that a few times,
yeah.
hasn't she? So it's like,
she gets a good... I mean, Tegan's farewell... I mean, somebody had reminded me of this today or yesterday. Tegan's farewell is heartbreaking.
Is it the one where it stopped being fun?
Yeah. But the worst bit is you see that she goes away, Davison's, distraught and quite upset by it. And then says, well, it seems I had to change my ways. And he goes, and then she comes back.
She does.
She didn't want to go.
She didn't want to go.
It's horrible. And Tegan was... I mean, she's an amazing companion. I think better
Do you think she needs closure? Do you think she needs to be brought back, much like Sarah Jane is
Is Clara Tegan? That is the question.
Is Clara Tegan next week on Talking Who? No. Tegan got mentioned in the Sarah Jane Adventures, funny enough. Anyway.
Robert Thomas says, I watched Terminus when stoned
during
my
come on,
uni
no, we
years.
can't condone this.
Had no idea what was going on. Then
shock.
Sobered up and realised nobody else had any idea what was going on though, but still brilliant.
No, I disagree. I don't like Terminus. The only good thing about Terminus is the fact that... I know, that's sexist and reductive. I do apologise. No, I don't like Terminus. Sorry. Marcus Judge has got some news on Colin Baker.
Colin Baker appeared in the stage play Corpse with Jack Watling straight after being fired from Doctor Who. Andy Oliver 232 says Colin was good, his writers weren't.
This is actually true. I agree with that.
Colin's performance was not good.
He had to deal with Jane Baker.
I'm glad he stuck with it. Yeah, and Chris Chibnall took them to rights. You seen that clip?
No.
Chris Chibnall was on the writer Chris Chibnall, who I'm referring to. You're familiar with Chris Chibnall?
Yeah, no.
Did some hit ITV show recently, I believe.
On the bus.
There's footage of him on a BBC sort of points of view type show, taking them to task. Yeah, it's on YouTube.
We need to find this on YouTube. Somebody find it now.
Actually, that hasn't actually appeared in any Doctor Who DVD extra. Is like a highlights reel of points of view of Doctor Who through the ages.
Yes. Dear BBC, why am I being subjected to Mr. John Barrowman? Which is what
was otherwise a perfectly good episode was ruined by the Master's accent.
Somebody did complain to Points of View about John Barrowman being on TV. I mean, people...
You didn't shout loud enough, did you?
I mean,
now he's on everything.
No, he hasn't been on much recently.
Yeah, luckily.
Apart from
2013 now, I think it was 2011.
He was on quite a lot. Lovely guy, John, lovely guy. Marcus Judge says Arc of Infinity was the only time we got a chance to see what Doctor Who would have been like if it would only been this and the Doctor. That's true, because Tegan's role in it is much reduced.
Limited, yeah.
Which, again, that's a kind of fascinating... Arc of Infinity is not a good example because it's really bad, I think. It's not a story I enjoy. No?
Well, I mean, I like Gallifrey kind of stories.
I don't.
I like Gallifrey stories.
They're always rubbish. Not always, but for the main part.
I like the fact that the Time Lords themselves are actually rubbish.
Yeah, they are.
That's what's actually brilliant about the Time Lords being geniuses, is that actually being geniuses means that they're actually also quite boring.
With great power comes stupid hats.
Boring. Somebody does need to call the Time Lords rubbish.
But that's the reason why the Doctor escapes from Gallifrey, because they are rubbish. He doesn't like them.
No, please, no, he's one of them. I mean, the Doctor's on like a
actually
gap
the
century.
reason why the Doctor escapes anyway.
But actually, I think there was technically something wrong, because I mean, at what point does he escape and steal the TARDIS? Because according to Matt Smith, he'd been piloting the TARDIS for 900 years, which is about his age. Yeah. So he's been piloting this particular TARDIS since he was just a wee bear.
Yeah, I think that was
a wee bear.
a slip in the
slippage.
Because he had to be old enough, obviously, to have had
drive.
Family and a
well, look at Romana. Romana was quite young and she could pilot it.
But she'd been assigned to do that. Whereas,
Hey, I'm Where were we?
Actually, going back to, should we just go back slightly to Journey to the Center of the TARDIS? Speaking of TARDISes,
have we got time?
TARDIS.
It's 10 past.
that's okay. I think.
Okay, just
just another point about the whole about the current TARDIS. I mean, historically, half the joke about the TARDIS and why he always complains about it is that it's Type 40. It's old. It's actually, as far as Time Lords are concerned, it's an X-TARDIS. It's not one. It's not ones that you'd want.
This
to
is an X-TARDIS. This is deceased.
Somebody was going to do that.
But
hello, TARDIS.
It just more and more recently, it's now the Super TARDIS. It's amazing. It's actually the most modern TARDIS I've ever, but it's not supposed to be. The whole reason why he never can go anywhere at the right place or the right time is because it doesn't work properly.
That comes up actually in the Crimson Horror.
Does it?
Yeah, it doesn't work properly there. It's actually in that clip they released
Except when
today.
they need it to work properly.
Yes, of course. When the story demands it. It's getting quite good at these short hops, he says, in the Five Doctors. Or was it Five Doctors? Yeah. But yes, it's.
But it just becomes more and more amazing all the time, and there's always like reasons for it to be fantastic, and beautiful and gorgeous. And the whole point about it is actually it's not necessarily it's not supposed to be beautiful and gorgeous. It's
clunky.
TARDIS and clunky.
A bit like my first wife. How did we get?
Andy Oliver 232 says he's found the video. I'm assuming he means Chris Chibnall video, maybe. I don't know.
That's possibly. It's hilarious. Good times. Peter Davison, we salute you. Moving on, do we have a video this week?
No, we don't.
All right.
No. That's why I said we had enough time.
Okay, so we have to do. Okay, shall we still talk about Peter Davison? I don't know. I've said everything I've had to say. He's amazing. That's it. The end.
Okay. I mean, I have to say, Peter Davison was in a period that I didn't see that much of Doctor Who. I'd watched obviously a lot of Tom Baker, seen Colin and Sylvester, and so other than probably the first season, which I did watch a lot of at the time, I caught up on VHS and DVD.
You're not a very good Doctor Who fan, are you?
I wasn't allowed to watch it at that particular period of time.
Oh no,
you're a bad boy.
One of those
No. I was in boarding school, and so it wasn't necessarily always on at the right on TV night. We only
playing cricket.
We only had one night a week was TV night, and it. You can feel sorry for me if you want.
I don't feel sorry for you.
Elsa went to Hogwarts.
So you couldn't see.
I became a wizard, and
how's that working out for you?
I can't work out this hair spell to get your hair back.
You look fine,
unfortunately,
for an older, balder man.
I'm younger than you, mate.
Are you?
No.
I was going to say.
At the same time, not being kind to any of us, is it?
Hey! That's not true. I look great.
Answers in the comments.
Do we have?
Ooh, something's going on here.
Oh, hang on. We're
disconnected.
According to this, we're still broadcasting.
But we're disconnected from YouTube.
But this is saying we're not.
We may have lost.
Did somebody?
It froze.
Did somebody message to tell us?
Hello, if anybody's out there. This is an emergency.
I think hopefully that. May have just been a glitch.
Was it a glitch?
Right.
Are we still?
Are we back?
If we are back, let us know. We have no idea. I think Colin Baker got in contact.
He called the feed. He called up BT and connected to DSL.
Okay.
Have the great intelligence got us?
Spoonheads.
Who are you calling a spoonhead?
Spoonheads.
Cheeky Epic James.
Do you know what a spoonhead is?
No, what is a spoonhead?
It's from Bells St John.
Oh yes.
Are we back? Are people letting us know? Are we back? Shall I start talking about Nightmare?
Well, the thing is, it's like we're still on. It hasn't gone off here on our screen. So
we'll just assume we're still.
They can need to tell us in the comments if we're still online.
Yeah, that's
because as far as I can tell, we are.
That's a heartbreaking moment to discover you're not on TV. TV. You're in sync now.
Back in sync.
Yay!
Oh my word.
For the last 20 minutes of the show, it was on the planet Skara, where my old enemy, the Master, made this curious request. It was a request they never should have granted. Nightmare in Silver.
Yes. You can give us a short
Yeah,
preview of that one?
have we got time? What did the producer say?
I'm going to say, if we've got some time to talk about some Cybermen, let's do it.
Yeah, so let's talk about Nightmare in Silver, written by Neil Gaiman, or is Sean, who presents the show with us, does he say Gaiman?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, no, Gaiman. He's pronounced Gaiman. A lot of gayness going on in the
If you have
room.
gay in your name,
Matthew.
you're more likely to work for Doctor Who.
Oh,
Velvet Matthew, guys.
isn't that slightly homophobic?
I wasn't saying
No,
that, I'm
it's
just
true.
saying.
I
If your name is
agree with
Moffat,
you.
or you have gay in your name, it's fine.
Okay, Gaiman, Gatiss, okay. Written by Neil Gaiman,
Cool.
and
Gammon.
it features, and this is in the synopsis, so
This is not a spoiler.
so it's not a spoiler, but should I say it? It's in the synopsis. The kids, Artie and Angie from the Bells of St John, are in this episode. Boom.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're in it.
okay.
Yeah, they join the TARDIS. So the Doctor has 3 travelling companions.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So
Please.
there's a
One
reason.
hasn't got anything.
There's a reason why. I won't tell you why, but you'll find out soon enough. And so they go to Hedgewick World of Wonder, or whatever it's called.
Chessington World of Adventure.
They go to a big interplanetary space.
Station.
Right. No, what do you call it? A fun park.
Fun part.
And where they meet Jason Watkins, well known for being human.
Yes.
A great actor. And they have fun, and they discover that the Cybermen are in fact very much still alive. The Cybermen have evolved somewhat since we last encountered them.
Creationists beware.
They are very different, and there's other things going
These
on.
are the disco Cybermen that we've seen in photographs.
Disco Cybermen.
Let's go Cybermen.
Yeah.
Disco
Oh, yeah.
Cybermen.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. The voices are slightly different as well.
Okay.
Although they don't talk like that, like they did in the 10th planet. There's a lot of creepy moments in it, a lot of very unexpected moments. There's moments that reminded me actually of the Peter Davison story Kinder. Yeah, there's some very interesting battles going on. And there's a lovely visual homage to numerous Dalek stories. Yeah, there's lots of Dalek stories, lots of references visually to previous Cybermen stories. Particularly, there's a nice one from Earthshock that they recreate.
From the point of view of the Cybermen, or from the Doctor's point of view?
From
References.
from the audience,
Oh, the audience.
from visually how they're presented. There's almost a shot-for-shot version from Earthshock. So it's very interesting. Lots going on.
I mean, the thing about Cybermen is that their timeline doesn't really necessarily make sense because
No,
we're not.
it's-
We don't know them as time travelers, yet they evolve depending on. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter what time period they're in. So you kind of can't quite work out how.
I don't even want to work things out. I just watch it and hopefully it's going to be fun. Which this one is good. I think a lot of people were expecting 10 out of 10 from Gaiman, but for me, it wasn't. But Matt is very good in it.
19 Sci-fi 73 asks, are they this world Cybermen or other world Cybermen?
Well, I don't want to say.
You don't want to say.
I don't want to say. I don't want to say. But it's interesting how they've evolved. But I mean, the story is actually more to do with the Doctor and a certain battle he has. Clara gets a lot to do as well. There is a very poor CG shot in the story, so bad that I had to stop and rewatch just to make sure what I'd seen.
Laugh.
So yeah, it was. I didn't laugh, my good friend. I was very saddened.
Oh, did you cry?
So it was. It's an interesting story. I know a few people that have seen it that loved it,
Yeah.
but I was less than
Well,
enthusiastic.
Gallifrey Time says, for me, Nightmare in Silver is an average episode.
Yeah, it's got nothing. There's interesting moments. There's a lot. If you look at the background, there's some tortured aliens. There's some Sarah Jane aliens. There's lots of things in the background to look out
It's
for.
a bit of a Carnival of Monsters kind of affair.
Or Rings of Chaka Khan.
Yeah. But yeah, ultimately, it's.
So
I think Tamsin Outhwaite's not very good, and Warwick Davis is not a dramatic actor, unfortunately.
Don't say that.
I just
never
did.
going to watch Willow again.
yeah, I mean, what about Willow?
Yeah, well, you just answered your own question. What
Yes,
about
What
Willow?
about Return of the Jedi, one of your
Uh-huh.
favourite movies of all time?
Oh,
It is.
please, he was an Ewok. You know,
Yeah.
you can't
He
have
did-
much drama
yeah,
as a
well,
teddy
Yeah,
bear.
it wasn't a dramatic role.
How many people were crying when Ewoks died.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
Yeah,
And how many people were celebrating
laughing
with the Ewoks when they won and were saying, yeah, we love those little guys because they've emotionally drawn us into their story.
Wow, what's wrong with him? He's not a great dramatic actor. The end.
Oh, hang on, we've had a big sort of...
Rose McCracken asks, who are these people?
Well,
us, I think.
he's blogged to do, Zelasar and Darren.
Who are these
I've
people?
got names up on screen for Rose McCracken.
Yeah. Hi, Rose. Thanks for asking us who we are.
Yeah, and
I think
that makes just me feel...
Does that better? I'm that guy.
I could be Sylvester McCoy. I was before I cut my hair.
Yeah.
It still hurts. It still hurts.
So Nightmare in Silver, yeah, it was fine. I'm not convinced by the Cybermen in it, to be honest.
Doctor Who Forever 100 says that Nick Briggs has already said they're not parallel ones. Parallel Cybermen.
Well, I'm
Nicholas,
not going to... Why did
one
you
bit of gin and your mouth runs off of you, doesn't
You
it?
probably said that in private to them. Yeah, well...
Gareth Time says Warwick Davis is awesome.
He's not. He's good in parts of it, but it takes a very dramatic turn, and he just doesn't have the balls, the meat to handle it, to be honest.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am so sorry you heard that.
Word.
You made I said a word that rhymed with hitch the other week, and you made me feel ashamed.
Good.
So now you say that word.
Balls is fine, isn't it?
No.
It's
disgusting.
just means chutzpah.
You're going to chutzpah.
But there's some funny moments in it. But as I say, Matt gets a lot of very interesting things to do, and unsurprisingly, there's lots of references to past Doctors, and even some visual nods. Matt impersonates some old Doctors.
Cool.
Does actual impressions of them.
And that's their tribute to the 50th anniversary.
Well, actually, you're not far wrong. Yeah, sorry. But so that's that. So that's the end of
the
that.
names get shorter as they go from left to right. I'm sorry I've got a long name. I'm very, very sorry.
Yeah, because Sean, he's just Sean Harry.
Yes.
You're just jealous that I've got about 1 million syllables in my name.
Yeah.
Look at that. Chadwick was saying that's massive. Cameron came in.
And then there's a gap at the end.
And the Twitter.
What's this gap here?
The Twitters go this.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it starts on the thing.
Look at it. There's a gap there.
Yeah. Well, I can't.
He says pointing at my crotch. Thank you for that.
Do we have any other business to wrap up this week?
Well, we have a new Doctor Who producer, I understand.
Oh well. Yes, we do. Brian Minchin, who worked on Torchwood, Sarah Jane, and most recently Wizards vs. Aliens.
Right.
He's a nice guy, Brian. He knows
people.
He knows people. He knows
people who know people.
He knows how. He knows how Doctor Who works. Yeah. Is that euphemistic enough?
So if you put the words Jonathan Nathan Turner,
he knows how Doctor Who works.
Yeah, how it runs.
How will continue running.
Yeah, the production. He knows. So he's an excellent choice. Yeah. Excellent. He's an excellent choice. I thought you were going to do like a fist pump. Yeah. Excellent.
Actually, we saw some excellence at the in the Cyber Parade. There was a few Cybermen going excellent.
Me and this guy here. Hi. We were in Stratford in London on Sunday. And there was some kind of cosplay thing going on.
It was a Sci-fi Film Festival London Sci-fi Parade, but with a Doctor Who theme.
Yeah.
And they had Daleks. They had.
They had two Daleks, which was great.
One of them was being operated.
Yeah, old school Daleks.
And then they realised that they just couldn't keep up with the rest of the people in the parade because they wanted them at the front. but the people at the very front just kept on walking further and further away, and so everyone else was standing behind the Dalek.
Oh, it's like
and they kind of realised someone had to run back and say,
in a wheelchair.
"Okay, guys, just go ahead of the Dalek now."
Yeah, a lot of people had put
some unusual costumes. Ogrons. Surprised to see them.
Yeah, some old school Sontarans looking.
Yeah. A hemivore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gas mask zombies.
Gas mask zombies. Yeah. There was. Should I say what that girl said she was? I mean, I feel uncomfortable.
Say what she was. Yeah. Well.
There was a girl that said she was a white Martha Jones. Yeah, which I feel uncomfortable. That was what she said she was. Yeah, I know.
No,
but
that's
there was
quite
two
sweet.
girls as Romana 1 and Romana 2.
Indeed.
And they
were friends as well.
Oh, they were extraordinary. Oh my goodness. I was...
Romana 1 specifically episode.
It was Shada. And, well, so was... Well, no, Romana 2 was Shada, and Romana 1 was
Romana
the
2 was
Rebus
Shada,
operation.
Yeah, the Rebus, yeah.
And they had done a proper...
Yeah.
They had done the research, and they looked so fantastic.
Lots of doctors.
Lots of doctors.
Surprisingly few 10th doctors. I think I only spotted one in the end.
The good Cybermen. There was 3 Cybermen.
There was 3 Cybermen. There was 2 Ogrons, a male and a female Ogron.
An Ogrette. no Ogrettes.
We had a silence, a pretty good silence.
I didn't see the silence. I can remember seeing it.
I don't think.
I didn't actually see.
Joke there.
So that was fun. Why are we talking about that?
Why not?
Yes.
It was Doctor Who news this week.
Yeah. Oh, so Brian mentioned, he's now new exec producer. So let's hope that he stays longer than.
And let's hope he
People
actually
go through
wants to
socks,
produce.
as Robert has said.
Robert Thomas says Moffat goes through producers quicker than the rest of us go through socks.
Well, technically that's not true, unless you're changing your socks once a year. Are you, Robbie?
Are you, Robert? Are you? Are you really?
Elisa, you're looking.
Are you?
You're looking like, I keep my socks on for a year. He's a good choice, and he knows Cardiff very well. He knows how the business works, and he did a really good job on Wizards vs Aliens actually. And it'll be sad to see him go because he won't be working on that anymore. But he was really good, and really good with Save Jane Adventures as well. So he's prepped. He knows what's going on. I like him. Good choice. I forgot to apply.
You snooze, you lose.
Yeah, you snooze, you lose.
Snooze, you lose, Cameron.
So we're at the end of the show.
We are.
Thanks
Indeed.
so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you again.
Controversial sort of.
Well, you'll get
Sylvester
back
McCoy
again
look like
because
I
I'm not going to be here in 2 weeks when you
Possibly
return.
in 2 weeks. Yeah.
So you'll get to be
Especially
We
to get my
don't
package
have,
of
we, don't
rice
have,
in.
we don't have a show on the
Next
8th,
week.
unfortunately.
15th. I'm busy. I have a quiz night in London. If you're in London,
I might come to that.
come along. It's a lot of fun.
Galfrey wants to hear your French accent again.
Bonjour Galfritans, je m'appelle Kamsi, j'adore la musique pop, le frigo est dans le jardin.
Can you do a Paul McGann does a French accent?
No.
Time just imploded and you got white Martha Jones
I
there.
thought about doing it. Yeah. Wow. So
Wow.
So I don't know if I'll be back ever again.
Oh, you will.
Well,
Eventually.
all right.
Eventually.
Yeah. So I might be back after the finale.
Make a
Okay.
wish.
I think that may be the next one. But I won't be here. You won't be here next week. There's no show next week.
There's no show next week.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know how
I'll
you'll
be here on my own, just sort of.
But keep tuned on our Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Make sure
Nah, I don't.
that way you'll know when the next show is.
Soakinoo.
Hey.
That's the advert. Soakinoo. Follow us on Twitter. Soakinoo. So we'll be back. You'll be back in 2 weeks, and you'll be discussing the build up to the finale.
Yep.
Or a fortnight for the British viewers, because we were doing that for BBC America. We'll be back in 2 weeks. A fortnight.
A fortnight.
A fortnight.
We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Or a fortnight.
Or if you're watching this
Yeah.
post 2 weeks,
The 15th,
it's just another YouTube video. Just press click on the next episode.
where they'll be reviewing.
And don't forget to hit subscribe and like.
They'll be reviewing Nightmare in Silver,
Yep.
which I just previewed, and looking forward to the finale. And I would guess there might be some news.
I'm sure there'll be some news.
I'm sure there will be.
There will be news.
So it's been lovely seeing you again, Darren.
I've
Thank you so much.
to get the phone call at lunch. That's true, actually. I was asked at lunchtime. I was.
That's the secrets behind the
The
tears.
secrets behind the. We need to do a behind the scenes DVD extra about.
We do.
How
You
we-
can sort of,
yeah,
you can see my feet underneath the table.
Hi,
Desperately
Darren,
sort
you
of
free? Yeah,
generating.
great.
Wow.
I can make it.
It's a tense day for Darren. Will he make it in time?
I almost didn't. I sort of was caught by a neighbour at
Pardon?
Waterloo Bridge.
Oh.
And then I just said, look, I have to run. And so, anyway, I made it here.
Yay.
Okay, is there any last comments before we go?
Oh, wow. Oh,
Hey,
Sorry, not that I'm taking over.
Why is Blogton not coming back? He's doing a quiz.
He's doing a quiz. I've taken over. Sylvester McCoy is here to stay.
Blogton will be back in the future, just not on the next one.
Yeah, I'll be back in 3 weeks.
He'll be regenerating
After the finale. That's if you're doing a show on that day. I assume you will be. That'll be the last of the weekly shows.
Yes, I mean I'm shooting a movie around the same time, so
you may not be.
I have to try and arrange my diary.
Shooting a movie.
I'm shooting.
Well, thanks for asking me.
Unless you want to learn how to do it, in which case.
No.
He's doing it. He's actually, that's not a joke. He is actually doing a proper.
I'm actually
movie.
filming.
And I should point
with
out,
the director of Drop Dead Fred. I'm working.
and I will point out, you did ask me to get involved, and I said no because I'm doing a book and I've got a deadline. Have you changed the dates for shooting the film?
I'm signing on.
Oh.
I'm not actually. I just want to drop a heavy-handed hint.
Can I advertise something?
Yes.
I'm in Cardiff on Monday. I'm hosting a round in the Quiz of Rassilon. So if you're in Cardiff or in the area, please do come along. Details on the Blogtree website, or if you visit Quiz of Rassilon on Twitter or Facebook. I'm hosting a round on the Peter Davison story Kinder.
Ooh.
Because they're celebrating the 5th Doctor.
An entire quiz just on the Kinder.
No, a quiz round on Kinder.
Okay.
There's other rounds on
Kinder.
Doctor Who stuff. So yeah, looking forward to that. Lovely to go to Cardiff, meet all the Cardiff people.
So final comments we have. Gallifrey Times, Darren, you look like you're going to be sick.
That's not news.
But Gallifrey Times says you've been great, Darren. You've been great, Darren, and as has Blogzer and Elazar.
Oh, thank
and Blogzer,
you.
can you do an Italian accent for Michael Allen?
Michael, he wants to hear my Italian accent. I don't know if I can do an Italian accent. Or maybe I can. See, Baroni.
Ladies and gentlemen, send your complaints
Is that racist to do that kind of accent?
Let's not.
You're an actor.
I'm an actor. That's very true.
Bobby Bishop says, glad that Darren is on as another person to combat Cam's anti-Colin stance.
I'm not anti-Colin. I just think he's awful.
No, you are. You're colonophobic.
I just don't
You're
like.
colonophobic.
Test 486 says, I love the Paul McGann accent.
Thank you. Is it? Yeah.
And 19 Sci-fi 73 has asked, has anyone seen the Name of the Doctor prequel?
No.
No, because I guess no one sees it until it's actually online.
Well,
Or do
they mistakenly leak it on BBC America or something like that they did the last one.
Actually, I do have some. We'll wait till the camera stop rolling.
Yes,
because a friend does the DVDs and he's seen. He's seen stuff.
Okay, let's.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you. See you. I'll see you in 3 weeks. He'll see you in 2 weeks.
I'll see you never, but in your dreams.
Oh, that's slightly creepy.
I know, absolutely. I want your flesh.
Enjoy Doctor Who this weekend, and if you're at the BFI at the weekend, say hello.
Cool.
Bye. It was a request.